having so many familiar names here. What year is this? Well, Bolt versus Bomber also falls into that category.
It is like a little bit of a flash from the past. It feels very 2012 right now. But I can't say that I would complain. Bolt and Bomber are in 2012 shape. Like they're both, I remember these guys from the tears they wreaked in GSL, but also at MLG, like the tournaments of that time. These were two of the absolute biggest Terran names. So it's really, really exciting to see them, again, still, not even again, excuse me, just still being consistent and strong across the board.
There we go. Sorry, I was struggling a little bit with the scoreboard.
Oh, it's no problem. Let's go ahead and introduce these players. We have a treat here on Frost, both players across the map from each other, giving us, hopefully, a full display of their potential. And I'm not going to lie, a little bit of bias here. I want Hart to take this one so we can see some more. They put on a show for us so far in these two quick games. Lower right-hand side, speak of the devil, it's Axiom Hart. And, oh,
no, go ahead.
You got this one?
No.
You're telling me to do it.
I'm still a little bit insecure.
That's okay. Top left-hand side, given wings. It is Bomber.
Yeah, I could have topped that.
You could have what?
I could have topped that.
You could have topped it? Yeah, I don't give a crap. I'm terrible. I'm terrible at intros, my God.
Not at all, Jeff. All right, we'll see what we are going to see on Frost. Could be a command center first over here. No, that's not going to happen, but it's something that you see every now and then, TVT on Frost.
I don't like what Hart's doing. He's covering up his sponsors with the place of the barracks. Total Biscuit, you've got a lot of work to do with this young man.
I mean, maybe he's just saying that he's not a big fan of Planet Side, but anything.
That'd be a terrible thing for him to say, wouldn't it?
But he's like, I do really like you, John, so I'm not going to put it. It would have been worse if we would have put it on the top hat.
The cynical Brit?
Yeah, that would have been very sad.
Yeah, they've got enough exposure as it is.
Where Refinery is going to go down for Bomber over here as well.
Double barracks. This is Reaper, by the way. You know, we talked about how these maps weren't good for Reapers. Well, Frost is one of the maps to survive into the next ladder season, and here it is in our tournament. And this is a map that is good for Reapers. They have all kinds of places to hop up and down and be super annoying.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Of course, it's going to be important. Will Bomber be able to scout this or not? We see an SCV right now on the left bottom side of the map. It all depends on where that first Reaper goes. Often what happens is that the Reaper is slightly misrallied or, you know, just leaves the base when that SCV enters. It would be very nice for Bomber if he sees something like that because he has to be careful. Then again, it is cross map, so even if, you know, you don't see it immediately, it takes a while before that Reaper count to snowball. And do you think he's going to make more than 3? 3 is probably the limit,
no,
right?
I think he'll make a lot more than 3.
You really? You think so?
5. I want to say 5. I think, especially if it's a CC on the low ground, it doesn't look like it'll be a CC on the low ground. In fact, it'll even be a reactor here as well. And still mining gas, interestingly enough, so it might actually be a factory. It was looking to be a 1 rack 6 span. But yeah, I mean, if you make 2 barracks like this, I could see him going a little bit hog wild with the Reapers.
We will see. Well, that one Reaper did leave the base, so this SV is going to enter in a pretty sweet time. He's going to see that first Rex immediately. Is he going to go to the left side of the base? Not yet. He checks the refinery. He probably clicks on it immediately. Says like, you've been mining like 200 and something gas, but he doesn't see it just yet.
Yeah, but Hart almost gave it away as Reaper was heading in that direction. He's like, not now, you idiot. And he even sends an SCV. I mean, he does plan on making the CC, so that's not a full-on fake, but it's so far not scouted. So it's just kind of a question of how good are Bomber's instincts. Is he... Because he doesn't see a CC and he still sees him mining gas, so is it a proxy? Or does he know it's 2 racks Reaper because of how good this map is?
This is a little bit scary right now because the best thing that Bomber has going for himself, or like the only thing that he has going right now is he has 4 Marines. Of course, he's producing 2 at a time.
You're right,
but 3 Reapers, if they hop into the base at the right moment and they can start microing, if Bomber loses some of these Marines and doesn't kill a Reaper, this can actually snowball out of control.
Okay, so there's a little bit of poker going on here. At first glance, you look at him going up the ramp and say, what a dumb move. But honestly, what he's saying is he probably knows it's Reaper and he should be everywhere but the ramp because that's a dumb place to go up. So it's kind of funny that the back and forth that players will have. But as it is, this Reaper opening so far doing nothing.
Nope. And you can immediately see, like, Bomber is a little worried. He's like, you know, I guess it's going to be 3 Reapers, but what if he went crazy and makes 5 or 7 Reapers? So he's going to produce 2 Hellions over here. Hellions are excellent against Reapers. It takes quite a while. Even though Reapers do double damage against Hellions, Hellions do nice damage against Reapers as well. They are fast enough to catch up, and they have a lot of HP in the long run. So, and, you know, if it's not a whole lot of Reapers, then these Hellions will still get the job done, as they are excellent scouting units.
Yeah, and he immediately puts them down on the low ground just to kind of pan around for exactly the reason that you say Rotterdam, excuse me, just kind of seeing, okay, is he still hunting around down here? The answer is no. He's still making more Hellions, though, which I think is interesting.
Yeah.
There is
maybe
definitely
Hellion
potential for him
Banshee.
to poke at the front, but there's immediately already a bunker there, so that gets kind of put down as well.
But what he can do is maybe send the Cloak Banshee into the main base and then run a bunch of Hellions into the natural.
Yeah.
Because most likely the Marines will be pulled up, and we all know if you open up with 3 Reapers, then you slow the rest of your production down for quite a bit. I'm very curious to see where Hart is eventually going to take this, because in the end of the day, you don't make 3 Reapers to kill a scouting SCV.
No. That being said, though, you know, I don't feel like he's really behind it all. Both players are going Cloak Banshee. Bombers is out significantly earlier on, and you can see that I feel like he's going to swap that starport onto the reactor and just kind of go with the 1 Cloak Banshee. That'd be interesting to do as well. But they're both dealing with similar stuff is, I guess, what I would round out my point with.
This 1 Reaper is going to be important. It's going to help Hart a lot if he sees these 4 Hellions right now. Well, he's going to see it regardless. He even saw the Banshee leaving as well. So this is an excellent scout. That 1 Reaper will fall, but it wasn't for nothing. Because now Hart knows, like, hey, I shouldn't pull all my Marines to the main base if that Cloak Banshee shows up, because I have to worry about these Hellions that are out on the field.
Yeah, and he... actually, did he move the Widowmine? Yeah, he moved the Widowmine a little bit more at his natural just to hide it a little bit better. I like what Major did yesterday, putting a Marine over the top of it.
Yeah, that was really cute. The booby trap.
Hides the spot, the booby trap there. But more Banshees coming out for Bomber and a 3rd CC behind this as well. But both players, Cloak Banshees making their way in here now. The Hellions aren't going to do much, as you can see. But the Banshee's going to make its way into the main, and it's going to fly past a Marine right there. So right now, Hart knows, but still no missile turret in that mineral line.
Yeah, I'm actually a little bit surprised by that. Hart doesn't really have a whole lot of anti-air here. If he's going to wait for that Viking, it's going to take a long time. Now he's pulling the Marines from the natural, but it also means that maybe this was the moment for those Hellions to go in. It's a little bit sloppy. I feel that Bomber could have done more here. Even though this Banshee is doing work, could have done more.
For both players, actually. Missile turrets attempting to go down, but there's no anti-air in place for Bomber either. It's actually a bit of a slug show for both players, and to be honest, the Bomber Banshee killed mostly Marines, whereas the Hart Banshee killed 11 SCVs. So only 2 down for Hart. Losing Marines is not that big of a deal unless you're going to do a follow-up timing attack behind it.
That's exactly what it will all come down to. Will Bomber follow this up with an attack, because he knows, like, hey, yes, I took some economic damage, but I'm going to have way more units than you. Stim is almost ready. That would make it a lot easier to take care of these Banshees.
Yeah, Stim will finish. Just barely, though, but it finishes immediately, and Comet Shield Star there as well. Scan and Stim does not get either Banshee kill.
Ooh.
Both players getting it done with Banshees right now, but as you can see, Hart getting the edge here. Again, he loses Marines, but by not having his economy slowed down, he's pulled ahead 8 supply, which is not the biggest of deals. Not like we look at that and say, oh gosh, this is over. But Hart with the slight advantage right now.
I'm still a little bit disappointed how Bomber executed that, because he lost 1 Hellion for 1 Marine when all the Marines were still in the bunker. Well, if he would have just waited with those Hellions and sent them in by the moment that all those Marines got pulled into the main base, 1 Banshee.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, wow.
Okay. This is actually...
This is a Marine slug, man. This is a manslaughter over here. Le massacre, as Le Todd would say.
This is a bit of a poop show for both these players. It's not great. Bomber's now attacking a depot. He lost most of his health on the other Banshee just by being uncloaked. You know, I expect higher from both of them. To be critical, to be fair as well. I think Bomber would say in control, you're not only handsome and intelligent, but very right. And in the background, by the way,
I don't think that's what he would say.
Totally say that. The 2 Banshees of Hart, you're like, where are those guys at? Oh, nowhere. They're stuck behind the mineral line at the main base doing nothing. Like, they're trapped, and now they're going to die.
This has been a really messy game from both players. Of course, it's hard to defend against Cloak Banshees and be really effective with your Cloak Banshees at the same time. But I think this just really summed up this game.
Yeah.
Command center going down below Banshee. You know, SCV dies immediately. Let's cancel the command center.
Surprise! Like, oh, wow, you are an enemy Banshee. Dang, I didn't see that. And but after the mud fight that was Bomber and Hart there with the Banshees, again, I do want to say Hart in a good position. He's ahead in Harvesters, he's ahead in Army. He's going to be moving out, taking that middle of the map initiative. And again, Bomber has a similar sized force. They both have Stim, they both have combat shields incoming if not completed. But Hart's the one that could potentially threaten this 3rd, which gives him a very powerful stance.
Yeah, he had an economic lead for a long time. He's basically going to be up a little later, but he has more Marines right now, despite losing way more Marines.
Yeah.
They just put up the tab. Hart has already lost 31 Marines throughout this entire game. But as we can see, Bomber has lost all of the Banshees and lost a few more SUVs. So it's just a choice that both players made. But in the end of the day, despite how messy and how silly that may have all looked, we're looking at kind of an even game.
Yes, yes. More even than not, I would say.
Yeah.
Scan does go down as Hart's trying to calibrate where to attack. I like this from Bomber, though. Bomber already ringing his bases with missile turrets, as you can see, making it very hard to drop. In fact, it's not a full ring, it's just the ring that's like the soft underbelly of his base, basically. That would be a devastating production line drop. But as it is with the sensor tower and the 3 missile turrets, it would be a punishing drop also for Hart to try to grab for himself.
Do you think Bomber, after he saw that command center being placed and then canceled, that he just feels right now like, hey, all I have to do is just get this base up and running for a while and then eventually I'll pull ahead? Do you think that's his thought process?
I think Bomber feels comfortable between the, like the 15-minute and 25-minute mark against any Terran. That's really his wheelhouse. Kind of like a Bolt TVP. That's where Bomber's drops and Marine tank becomes, ungodly. But I love this move from Hart. It gets sniffed out by the sensor tower, and there's actually a Marine placed here as well. So again, tip of the hat to Bomber for just being one step ahead at all stages here.
Yep, this one little Marine is going to see these medevacts, and Hart sees it as well, that these medevacts have been scouted. This is a really important moment, because Bomber is up so many SUVs. There's only a single missile here, but there is a tank, there are still Marines. I don't know if you should do this, Hart. Or maybe you should. No, here we go, Jeff.
Hart. Earth, wind, fire to Hart. What are you doing? No! Oh, he's going to go into the main, but there's not much to drop there. Okay, there's just not space.
There are a lot of tanks over here for Bomber as well. Indeed, some of the medevacts are not even unloaded just yet. Hart losing so many of his units.
There's no space to drop. What are you doing?
Wow, GG, that's it. When Doom Drop goes wrong.
All right, Bomber drops Hart for the win for the first